Okay, so March is Social Work Month. I probably said it like 8,000 times on this series already, but like it's the best month ever. So I'm just going to keep saying it. And not only that, we're going to keep bringing some amazing stories to you from social workers in the field. And you may not even realize this, but there's over like 255,843 social workers currently employed in the United States, and all leading change in some capacity. And as big as that is, I don't think we realize how much we do and how much social work impacts change on all levels, right? So it's great to just hear from folks what they're doing and how they are showing up in that capacity. So welcome to this series. My name is Amanda Flood. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I've probably been in social work for like 17 plus years. I have a private practice. I teach. I do speaking events and coach folks on the side too on their mindset and really applying some of the same skills that I've used as a social worker. So it is everywhere. And once you get into this field, you realize how diverse it is and how flexible it is and how much we can use it. So it's an amazing profession. And today, helping me talk about that, I can't wait for you guys to hear her story. It's Brittany Rush, LCSW. Brittany, welcome.
Hello, thank you so much. I couldn't agree more with everything that you said.
Yeah, we're just dope.
We're everywhere, like you said. We're truly everywhere.
Yeah, that's it. And we're going to get right into it, right? So when you hear the theme for this month, empowering social workers, but inspiring action, leading change, what does that mean for you?
Yeah, I think inspiring social workers, right? It's like empowering us to share with others what we do. Just like you said, I think it's important that we have an understanding, if we don't already, about how broad the field is, because I think, at least when I was going through school, it wasn't as advertised, so to speak, how diverse the field is. It was very focused on specifically therapy, right? And we know that that's one facet that we can engage in, but there is a plethora more to it. And a lot of the people that are not familiar with the field, right, that aren't social workers, don't even know that we can do therapy. So that's kind of interesting as well. They see us in more of a social worker role of like Department of Social Services, right? That's what the traditional person thinks. So I think it is a little combination of both, empowering us to do the work to educate those around us about what we do, but then also taking that a step further and educating the community as well.
Yeah, because we are more than just folks that like take children away or that you come to for services. But I
Yeah.
think in both capacities, because even in our ability to own private practices and see folks clinically in that way, I feel like we're still looked at as less than, right? And even as a profession in the traditional social service lens, there's still a lot of stigma there, and our value, it's like we're at the bottom of the barrel, right?
Mm, yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because we work with like the most vulnerable populations and deal with things that people don't really want to deal with, but we have to start to elevate this view of social workers and what they do, because like we are so skilled, we spend so much time learning our craft, and we just bring so much to the table that we have to start looking at the profession with value. And I love what you said. We've got to understand it too, so we can advocate for ourselves, so people understand like, oh no, this is what I do, right? And this is what I expect, right? I don't just take anything and everything just because I'm a social worker. And from this external view, I think, policymakers, those in like macro work, we have to really advocate for the value of social workers too, because we just do so much and we should be compensated for that. And our value should be raised, both economically and just like practically.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree.
And
Yeah.
that brings me to your role as a social worker. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you lead and inspire change and create impact.
Absolutely. So I am also in private practice. So I am actually transitioning right now from working for a practice to developing my own practice. So that is a new and exciting venture. that I'm stepping into. But I also, a big part of what I do is host community events, specifically community mental health events. So I do a lot of expos, therapy expos, and wellness expos, particularly for marginalized communities such as the Black community, because that's a community that I'm a part of, and I really, really love to empower and impact a community that I represent. So I love hosting community events. They have been such an empowering experience for me, but also to see how I've been able to impact change in the Richmond community has been amazing, because you don't realize how much something is needed until someone comes up to you and says, wow, this is the gap that you're filling, right? This is what this meant to me. I was able to find a therapist for my son who hasn't been able to identify with a therapist before, because we know that that's such a thing here in the realm of therapy, is finding a match, right? Finding somebody that works well with you. So things like that, those little moments that we as social workers often cling to, right? Those little moments, glimmers of hope that we keep us doing what we're doing, is why I do what I do, truly. So those are just a few of the things that I do in the field.
I love that. How did you end up here? What really motivated you to become a social worker and even to show up in this way with community events?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of things. I traditionally or originally went to school for criminal justice for my undergrad. And it was about my junior year where I took my first juvenile delinquency class, and I had seen a video in class of youth who were incarcerated. And something about that just did not sit right with my soul. I said, wow, there are really kids, kids 15, 14, 13 years old in prisons, incarcerated. And that stood out to me. That was my first exposure and experience to something like that. And I said, wow, what would it be like instead of trying to pursue something where I am kind of getting in a little bit too late, right? Not to say that adults even cannot recover from situations and incarcerations like that, because they can, but how much can I impact kids at the level of before they're introduced to that system, right? And I really wanted to get into the preventative work. And I had a mentor at the time that said, you know what, if you really want to work with kids and families in this way, you have to major in something like social work or psychology, human services. And so that is truly how I found the field, or it found me, how I say. And the rest is truly personality, passion. I have a passion for people. I love helping people, and I love connecting with people. That's just what brings me joy. So it all kind of works.
Ooh, I feel like that's like the core of like social work, like the social part to the work, right? Your personality, passion, and we get to really infuse that into all aspects of the work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I love it. Do you regret coming to the field, or was it like a really good decision?
No. I could never. It was the best shift. I don't know what I would have been doing in criminal justice, because I went straight from my bachelor's to master's and chose social work. So I don't know what that would have been like for me, but I do think I really love the intersection. So I've done a lot of work in prisons and residential facilities for teens. So that kind of combination of criminal justice and social work has been really cool to be able to get to work in, but zero regrets whatsoever.
Love it. So everybody just come on over. Zero
Yep.
regrets.
Join us. Yes.
And we hear like we can align with other professions, other spaces, right? Juvenile justice, the prison system. How can we bring what we know there and really create this like great balance and do great work?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many intersections of social work and so many other professions. So it's not just a social work bubble, right? We bleed into so many other realms, and there's social workers employed at so many other different types of organizations where you don't traditionally think of it as a social work field. So that's really cool.
I love it. Finish the sentence for me. I wish people understood social workers, dot, dot, dot.
I wish people understood that social workers are as diverse as we are. Because, like you said, we are so not just the field, but we as people, the way that we're trained, the education that we receive, it is so widely used and applied, can be applied in so many different facets and settings, that I think truly it is something that could benefit any field, right? Having and employing social workers in prisons, in school settings, in, government places, like hospitals, and we're in all those places, right? But having us there, it just truly makes for such a better lens to have that perspective because we are so diverse. So I think if people understood that, they would really appreciate the field a whole lot more. And like you said, that value would just increase.
Yes. It sounds like everyone needs a social worker, honestly.
I mean, we're biased, but I would agree. I would agree.
Yes. I feel like that is everyone's homework. Go assess your organization and see if you have a social worker. And if you do, you might need some more. If you
Right.
don't, then you
You
have to
definitely
be
need
valuable.
one.
You need one. Yeah.
Right.
That's our
Right.
next t-shirt. Everyone needs a social worker. You definitely need one. Yeah.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because what we bring, it's like it's everything that you need, like the balance of the person and how we also bring ourselves, and we really see people for who they are. And that's a lot of what everybody looks for. Like, I just want to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. But listen, Brittany, thank you so much. Like, I am grateful for what you're doing in this work and how you have chosen several paths really in how you show up as a social worker, right? Which is just beautiful. And I look forward to wherever it leads. Cause like once you get started on this thing, it just keeps growing and you just keep finding more doors. And you're like, oh, I could do that too. Screw. Okay.
Yes. Oh, it's amazing. Yes. And especially once you get that license, right? So many doors open up for you and it's just a whole new world. So yeah, the impact that we can truly make as individual social workers, but especially when we collaborate, we know we love to collaborate. So the impact is truly amazing.
Oh, brilliant. So, to everyone listening, happy Social Work Month. And if you just love this conversation, share it. That could be your act that really helps to initiate change so folks can hear the beauty of the profession. I think others can see that this is an option for them if they are looking for a career change. I've met so many people that's changed their careers from teachers, psychologists. I had a teacher at the graduate level, I had a neurosurgeon that
Wow.
came into the field to become a social worker.
Yes. Keep recruiting.
Yeah. So like there is room for you in this profession, right? And oh my God, it's so exciting when you can take what we teach you and bring yourself to it. It's just magical what we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you again, Brittany, and thank you everyone for listening. Happy social work.
Thank you.